Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It's Friday, January the 23rd. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to open modestly lower with ASX futures down around 6 points. A relief rally has seen global equity markets gain after President Trump ruled out seizing Greenland by force and dropped tariff threats against European countries. The easing of geopolitical tensions also boosted Wall Street's major indices, with investors also encouraged by revised US economic growth figures. The small cap Russell 2000 rising to a record high, while the SIBO Volatility Index slid 15 points, having hit a 2-month peak earlier in the week. Investors are now refocusing on earnings, with many of the mega-cap tech stocks set to report results next week, which will indicate whether current valuations are justified. Among those leading gains in Thursday's session were Meta, along with Alphabet and Apple. Intel forecasts first quarter revenue and profit below market estimates as it struggles to match supply to booming demand for traditional server chips used in AI data centers. Its shares slumping 5% in the extended session. Tesla rose after Chief Executive Elon Musk addressed the World Economic Forum in Davos, where he said the company will probably be selling its Optimus humanoid robots to the public sometime next year. GE Aerospace slipped despite forecasting its annual profit above estimates. Abbott shares tumbled after the medical device maker forecast current quarter profit below Wall Street expectations. Procter & Gamble gained following quarterly results, and US-listed shares of Alibaba rose on reports the Chinese e-commerce firm is preparing to list its chip-making arm, T-Head. Well, President Trump claims he secured total and permanent US access to Greenland in a deal with NATO. His head says allies will have to step up their commitment to Arctic security to ward off threats from Russia and China. However, the details of any agreement were unclear, and Denmark has insisted its sovereignty over the island is not up for discussion. The framework also calls for prohibiting Chinese and Russian investments in Greenland. Well, revisions to American third quarter GDP show an annualised growth rate of 4.4%, confirming that economic activity is accelerating. Weekly jobless claims were lower than expected, while November personal income was slightly stronger than expected at 0.5%, while spending was in line at 0.5%, and the core PCE price index rising 0.2% month on month for an annualised rate of 2.8%. US Treasury yields rose as investors prepared for further volatility and awaited clarity on the Greenland framework deal negotiated by President Trump with European leaders. The yield on the US 10-year was at 4.25%, the 2-year at around 3.62%. US dollar is down around 0.5% on the day. The Aussie dollar up more than 1% to 68.4 US cents following the stronger than expected jobs data. Oil prices have slid to a 1-week low as US threats towards Greenland and Iran dissipated. Brent futures falling almost 2% to settle at $64 a barrel. Gold has surged past $4,900 an ounce for the first time, powered by ongoing geopolitical tensions, a softer US dollar, and expectations of a Federal Reserve rate cut. Spot gold up close to 2% to around $4,920 an ounce. Silver and platinum prices also hitting fresh record highs, and Bitcoin remains below $90,000. There's no significant local data today. Overseas, though, New Zealand is set to report fourth quarter inflation. The Bank of Japan will hold a policy meeting, while manufacturing PMIs will be released globally as well. On the corporate calendar, Alcoa is set to report quarterly results. That is your day ahead. See you again on Tuesday.